Vallejo Music exclusive.
I grew up like a savage. One, two, 1, 2. You now rocking with the No Vultures podcast. You got me, myself, Lord Rab. You got OG Cleef floating around this motherfucker somewhere. And today, we got a very, 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 very special guest. Now, you know, it ain't often that we get people on this show or on any show for that matter that have been making music for as long as this guy has been making. Like, it ain't that often that you get somebody that's under 30 that's a music industry veteran, right? Like, that been doing this shit, right?
Most
Like, in my opinion, damn near a child prodigy. Because depending on where you at, like, you from a small town, right? If you was somewhere else, if you was in L.A., it ain't no telling where you would have been. So, in my opinion, a child prodigy. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know, a Vallejo pillar, a legend at this young age, you know what I'm saying, have done legendary shit, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's very musically inclined, and a student of the game. We got Yhung T.O on No
For
Vultures.
sure, appreciate it, bro.
How you doing, brother?
Hell yeah.
Man,
Good.
it's my pleasure to have you on here, man. How you doing?
I'm good, for sure. Straight.
I got to give you the No Vultures disclaimer is that the reason that it's even called No Vultures is because we don't believe in the culture vulture shit, right?
Okay.
So we don't believe in just the T.O. We reaching out to T.O. if it's controversy or if it's none of that. As you know, we was trying to make it happen for a long time. It just didn't line up. You know what I'm saying? And so I just like to make that disclaimer because we like to highlight all the good shit. You know what I'm saying? Before the shit, we keep it real, but we like to highlight the good shit about a person.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, born and raised in Vallejo, California.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get to the Mac Wine yet. I don't want to get to the T.O. yet. I want to get to Jawan, right? So, like, growing up in Vallejo, what was it like with you growing up? Like, what did you see outside?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Honestly, I grew up with my I always knew my dad's side of my family. My grandma on that side, my uncle on that side, all my uncles on that side. But my Uncle Ricky, he for sure used to always look out for me. I grew up in a house with my grandpa, my grandma, my uncles, you feel me, my little sisters, shit, my mom, before she moved out, because basically my youngest, I think 3 sisters, they grew up with my mama. Then me and my 2 older sisters, they younger than me, but my twin sisters, we grew up with my grandma, in the same house. Like, we all grew up together, but we lived with my grandma. They lived with my mama. So pretty much that's really what my childhood pretty much consisted of.
I know that your grandma was significant in your life, Miss Della Davis, right? And she often come up in your story about how supportive she was of you. To just tell us about that, because usually, when somebody trying to make music, I mean, how I can't even explain. Maybe you can explain. How was she hip enough to know that could be a future instead of saying, "Boy, you better just go to the foundry like everybody else when you graduate"?
I ain't gonna lie, because that's just how my grandma was. Like, my grandma and my grandpa was like that. My grandpa died of cancer in 2006.
Okay.
So I say my life was one way up until that point. He was on bed rest. So my grandma used to take care of him. She was like a home care. She did child care, and then she also did home care, to where she take care of all the sick people and stuff.
Okay.
I forgot what the name of it is, but she did that. So basically, since she was already doing that when my grandpa got sick, she just started doing that for him. So she started doing care for him, you feel me? So he ended up getting diagnosed with cancer. I remember that ended up happening. And then shortly right after that, he ended up passing away. So I remember just being in the room, you feel me, just watching that shit happen, just watching him die. that was the first time I seen that. But like, I didn't really know what it was. So from that point on, it was like when I seen him again, like when we went to go do the viewing and shit of his body and all that, like it didn't really seem like it was real to me, you feel me? Like I was still laughing and shit, like everybody else was sad, I'm laughing and shit, like I'm just like regular. It didn't really click to me until like I was probably in like I don't know what grade I was in, but I was at school one day in a classroom, and the nigga just like, he came to me like in like a, this might sound like on some weird shit, but you feel me? He came to me in like a ghost form type shit, you feel me? And like I seen him and he was talking to me, and then he was just telling me like I'm gone, but I'm still here. Like I'm always be here when you need me. You could always call on me type shit. Like it's on you. Like I feel like he like at that moment he handed it to me. Like,
Right.
the kingdom was mine at that point.
Yeah.
You feel me? So this some shit I ain't never told nobody either. But this like it's some real shit that really happened, bro. And I was like crying and shit. They called my mama and my grandma and shit. They came, got me from school, all the shit. And so ever since then, like, you feel me, a nigga life been on the too like older than what I am type shit. Cause I took on that responsibility from that point on of just like, nigga, I gotta figure something out. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, and I slept in a bed with my grandma till I was 12 years old. You feel me? So not only did it was like, I kind of took that place like to myself, like on some family shit, but like even to her, like you gotta think about it. She used to sleeping with this man for all these years. Now they 50. They was together since they was like 18, you feel me? So now he dead, and now I'm there. So I'm kind of like, not like that, but you know what I mean? I don't know weird exactly shit, but you know what I'm saying? I'm taking that place now.
Yeah.
So now it's like me and her. You get what I'm saying? So we just, from that point on, it was just like, we built a higher bond, you feel me? And it's like, to this day, even though I'm her grandma, and he was my grandpa, like, if we talk, she don't never call him my grandpa, she call him my dad. Your dad this, your dad that, your dad that. Like, and it don't even click in her mind that that's not my dad.
Right.
That's how I know, like, it also is it's a different feeling for her too than just a normal relationship. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's really where the foundation stemmed from, of just like, she just always knew. She just always told me I was the one. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna be the one that was gonna do it.
Did you feel any type of like, well, you said you felt a responsibility, but was that responsibility, being so young, was it kind of a burden too? Like, cause you know how like, at times you don't really get to be a kid. Like you said, you grew up fast.
Yeah.
Like, did you feel that way?
Yeah, that's where like, so I was in and out. I used to be in and out the hospital like a lot. Okay. And even like when we did when we was doing tours and shit like that, like sometimes I'd be missing shows and shit. That's why, cause I'd be in the hospital. So like when I was like at a young age, a nigga was like diagnosed with like post-traumatic stress, anxiety, all that kind of shit. So like, that's why a nigga like be having shaky hands and all that kind of shit. Nigga had that since I was like a real young kid. And I think that's where that shit stemmed from. It stemmed from like, now that I'm being older and I can look back on it, now I get it. But when I was younger, I didn't know why I felt like that. You get what I'm saying? It was just like, then it's like I just had episodes and shit, and then I go to the doctor and shit, and they'd just be like, ain't nothing wrong with you. You feel me? So over time of that happening, and then they start putting you on medication and shit. So once they start putting you on medication, then the medication start fucking you up. Like,
facts.
So the medication start like fucking me up. Like, I could look back on it now. So I ended up stopped taking it. You feel me? Once I stopped taking the medicine, it just made everything worse. So at a point, it's like you start self-medicating to try to figure it out. So I'm used to taking these pills and shit from a real young age, like 11, 12, like shit like that. They put you on these pills and shit. So then when you get older and shit and you not taking these prescribed pills no more, then you self-medicating, so you smoking weed, you doing perks, you doing all this different type of shit to try to get that, but you're not knowing doing this shit at such a young age is fucking up your development and your growth.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of my like issues and all that kind of shit, if I could look back on it, I think that's what it stemmed from. It stemmed from just knowing, like, having all that weight on your shoulders at such a young age and you not understanding why you feel like that.
I feel like, I didn't necessarily have the anxiety, but I felt the feelings that you felt of being responsible for my family. And because, I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like it happens to conscious people and it happens to smart people. You know how they say, God take care of fools and babies? Like, but because you are who you are, your responsibility to be different, even if the other person was the same age as you. It's just your understanding. It makes you have to be responsible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a thing. You know what I'm saying? And it happened to different people. Because I always wondered, like, when I was young, like, why some niggas could just do anything and get away with it. It just seemed like it's something just gonna go bad for me if I do the same shit.
Yeah, nah,
And
for sure.
I just think it was the burden of responsibility because I knew shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So and it do make you feel like a grown man. Honestly, it make you feel like you can't just be a kid.
Exactly. And then it's like most things that you grow up like missing or that's actually like affecting you, you don't realize it until you get older and you got to go back and realize it, like not having a pops or certain different little shit that or different like family relationship or dynamics. You don't realize how it affects you till you get older because you would be like, damn, like you could understand it because you got the mindset to know, like, all right, I ain't tripping like that. I'm over it. But then it's like you as a grown man, you could feel a certain type of way, but due to the fact that you didn't know what you was going through when you was a kid, that kid in you gonna always feel like that. So you feel me? Just because you didn't take care of it or handle it back then, now as a grown man, you still dealing with them childhood traumas and shit that it's probably never gonna go away because you don't fucking, you feel me? You're not a kid no more, so you can't change how the kid in you feel. It's too late. You feel me?
Your Uncle Lamont,
Yeah.
growing up, like, was he like one of your biggest influences?
Yeah, for sure. I got my uncle right here too, my uncle and my cousin. But yeah, them was my top two influences right there, my uncle and my cousin. But my uncle, he was rapping, so he the one who made me want to rap. You know, Reese Beats. So Reese Beats, like, he used to live across the street from me, up in Rancho. I was living on I think it was Yorkshire.
Okay, shout out Reese
He lived
Beats.
right across the street from me, and basically my uncle and my other uncle, both of them, and his partner, both of them name was Lamont. You feel me? So they had a group called the Young Dudes.
Okay.
So I used to have like they CD and shit when I was little, so I used to play their music. It was some shit called Golden State Records or some shit like they
Okay,
had
I
way
remember
back
that.
in the day.
Yeah.
It was some shit called Golden State Records, and like, so they was pushing that movement. So the nigga Reese and shit, he used to be with them during that era.
Okay.
You feel me? So that's why, like, later on in life, when I started doing my shit, and then, you feel me, it came around full circle because he used to be making music with my uncle and shit.
Okay. Damn, that's crazy. So, like, now your first studio experience, I know you said later on that you went to the Grill.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, was it always house studios?
Yeah, it was so it just like upgraded over time. You feel me? So first it started off just like some regular setup type shit. We just had the Fruity Loops, the programs. Then my uncle G-Rod, he was the one who was basically like orchestrating all the shit. So he was like, he had the like a mic or something. That's probably just what we had at the time, a little computer and a mic. So then over time we just started getting a better computer. Like, you feel me? Then get a better mic. You feel me? So just like over time, it accumulated until like over all the years, just getting better and better equipment till then we ended up building a booth. Like, I was helping him do it. I can't take the credit for it, you feel me? But I for surely helped him build it. But he built the booth. We put the installation in there. All the shit, we still got it to this day. So we built the booth, put the installation in there. We never like finished it. It's like wood, like set up like wood, like this shit. But it got the installation and shit. That's what we recorded everything in.
Okay.
All that shit. We recorded it in that booth. So that's once we got like to that stage of it. Like you feel me? That's like like once we reached our peak. Like you feel me? We had some speakers, the mic interface, Pro Tools. You feel me? And that was it.
You was young as hell, like right 6, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And was Fruity Loops easy for you to learn because of how it was set up with like them bars and colors and shit?
So for me personally, I started off on Fruity Loops, but I never really got the hang of it. It actually was too complicated for me, so I was more of a reasons person. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I was more of a reasons person. I actually just recently ended up back fucking with it, like, probably a few years ago when I was at my uncle's house. I ended up making some beats and shit on there. And I had when I had went to Dubai, I had made some songs and shit to the beats that I had made. So later on this year, I'm going to drop that shit too.
Okay. Yeah, that I know that you was making them beats young, and actually a lot of people don't really know that you not just a rapper or just a singer. Like you a engineer, you a A&R, you a fucking like you know what I'm saying. You do it all, and so like watching your uncles and them do their thing, and you starting to do your thing. Like, what's your influences? Is like Wayne? Like Lil Wayne, like because I mean, I
so
don't
my
know.
uncle Young T.O, right? Because this is I'm glad that you said this because a lot of people get confused too. Like, where did this like? I did on my mama. I did Before the Fame, and then I did Lamont. The project was called Lamont, dedicated to my uncle. So my uncle was a big Hot Boys fan.
Okay.
You feel me? So if you hear my uncle music, like. Hopefully one day I could find it. Maybe he got something original I might be able to put out or something. But he had this old mixtape back in the day called The Streets Talk. So that was his style. His style was he had a southern style because they came from Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
You feel me? But then they moved out here to the Bay Area. Well, my grandma and them originated in San Francisco, but she had them in Oklahoma. Then they came back, and then they came to Vallejo. You feel me?
Okay.
When I was born. So that was his style. He had like a Lil Wayne, BG, Hot Boys type of style. So I was always influenced by that. So when my uncle died, like how I told you when I was a young nigga, and with my grandpa, I just took on that spirit. That was like the same thing with my uncle. You feel me? I felt like he didn't get he got killed in Atlanta. I felt like he didn't get the opportunity to fully reach his potential. So it's like when I start switching my style up and I come with that more southern type bass type shit, that's like what I consider as like him living through me. You feel me?
Okay.
Like that's why the project was called Lamont when I come with that specific style, like the Thugged Out album and different little shit like it's come from Lil Wayne, of course.
Okay.
But I basically got the Lil Wayne shit from my uncle cause like you feel me, my uncle only had one tape. So when I listen to Wayne, it's like I hear my uncle. You feel me? So that's where that influence came from. So when I was doing that, the reason why I started doing that style of music was for that reason.
Okay.
This was like a dedication to him type shit.
I know that you a student of the game, and I know like I've heard you speak so fluently about hip hop and about just the culture in general, right? Like you're not somebody that just jumped in, right? It's like you could tell you paid attention to all this shit. And did you know coming up, because you had a grandma that supported you, but it's like she didn't support it, the negative part, because you wasn't cussing, right? So did you know when you was young that Wayne didn't cuss when he was young?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that until I got older, and I was able to go back and study that. So probably like when I was probably like 14 or something like that, I probably figured that out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's why like when I had told her like when I was either 13 or 14, I'm like, man, when I turn 16, I'm gonna start cussing. Like, you feel me? Because I just knew. I'm like, because I knew, like, I was just studying everything. I'm like, damn. It's like, it was a lot of kid shit, but I'm like, all right, so they just looking at it like kid shit is cute.
shit, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so when I start cussing and shit, I'm telling you, it's gonna be it. You feel me? So, yeah, that's how
You
I
outside cussing with your friends, though, but not on record.
Right, so, like, you feel me? So it's like, nigga, it's like people listening to these songs ain't like, nigga, get out of here with that shit. Like, nigga, that ain't you. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we talking all kinds of crazy when it's just us, but now we listen to you, we don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
We want to hear you say the shit we be saying when it's just us around.
Yeah.
Feel me?
Knowing that you performed at all these different places like Solano College and like the Black Expo and all these places, like, who putting together these?
My grandma.
She really putting that together.
She put all that shit together. We performed at the we used to do the fair. We used to do it was Discovery Kingdom at this time, which is Six Flags now, but Discovery Kingdom. We then we did a contest because me and my cousin, we had a group. We was called Swag Team. Me and my cousin Streets at the time, and we did like a little. It was like a little. What is it called, bro? Talent show.
Okay.
We was doing talent shows and shit all around the city, Oakland, everywhere. You feel me? We was just doing talent shows and shit, whatever we could do. Like, you feel me? And I fucking never won a talent show ever.
Okay.
Like, you feel me? We used to be doing talent shows. So the one time that we actually won some shit, I forget what it was, but it was in Oakland. I forgot what the name of it was, but we basically won, and we got to open up for Guapale. So that's like, I think we did that. That was in Oakland too. I'm not sure if that was the Black Expo or not, but it was downtown Oakland though. I think the Black Expo, that was inside. Wasn't it? That was inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something separate. So we did that. We did the Black Expo, and then we had opened up for Guapale. And then I'm trying to think, it was some other shit
what's the
we did.
downtown festival called? That's probably what it was. I just was talking about this shit yesterday.
Yeah, it was a festival
The shit that was
downtown,
outside.
though. Yeah, the outside shit.
I can't think.
Yeah, the soul something. Yeah, it was soul
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yep. We did that. Then I used to go to the Rise Center. I think they had one out here in Oakland too, but they had one up in Richmond. So I used to go to the Rise Center, and that's where I kind of learned how to perfect my mixing and mastering and all that kind of shit, because they was actually teaching me the technical part of it. So that's how I learned all that shit, because I was going to the Rise Center. And then I don't know if we did some concerts for the Rise Center or not either, but yeah, that's really what it was. My grandma just networking.
And going to the hospital young and shit, and like having the thing with your anxiety, like that never happened when performing.
Bro, that's what's crazy. When I get on the stage, bro, I never panic. Like, I'd be nervous beforehand, but when I'm on stage, bro, it's like all that shit go away.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It all
it's
go
it's
away.
like that's where you belong.
But that's because it started since when I was young. So I've been doing this shit for so long. I was doing stage time. They had this radio station called Ozcat Radio back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I first met Larry June at. Larry June used to be doing Ozcat, came through the Ozcat Radio back in the day too. So we had this thing called stage time. Erica Blue, she was a DJ, so she used to do the stage time, and she used to basically teach us how to perform on stage. Don't stand in front of each other, don't cross chords up, and you know what I'm saying, all that type of shit. Like, she was teaching us at a young age.
Yeah.
So due to the fact that I was doing that since I was so young, since like I was 8 years old, I was doing that. So I was doing the stage time shit, and then we'd be performing, and we'd just be practicing and doing all this shit. It'd be like, by the time we got to the point where people knew the words, the shit was nothing, because it was like, bro, I came from having to make people like the shit. You ain't never heard this shit in your life.
Yeah.
So I gotta tell you, put your hands up. When
Right.
I say this, you say that.
Right.
Like crowd interaction, all that shit.
Yeah.
Because you gotta think, with me being so young, it's the early 2000s. We probably not even in the 2000s. We're not even in the 2010 era yet.
Nah,
So you gotta think that we still handing out CDs. It's still the old era. So that's why like a lot of people don't understand. Like to me, since I've been in it and looking at it since I was such a young nigga, it's like the way I look at the game is from the old ways of the game.
Right.
So it's like it's like sometimes I get out of character and I play into the new shit. But when I'm just truly being myself, I ain't really into the new shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like that's why you would probably only catch me doing the new shit, the social media shit and all this, if I'm mad or something.
Right.
And I'm going off or some shit like that because I'm out of character now. I'm doing something I don't want to do.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why most people probably only see me doing some shit in that manner because when I'm just in my state, like I come from back in the day, like where it was more like when you was somebody, you was somebody.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and once you are somebody, that's what you is. It's not like I'm not the type of person that just want to stay all in the lights and want you to see everything and know everything about me and record myself taking a shit and taking a shower and brushing my teeth and all this. You know what I'm saying? I studied from back in the day. Like when I jumped in it, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be somebody, and it's like, all right, now I'm somebody. When I pop out, I can sit back. You know what I'm saying? Like how Kendrick Lamar moves and shit like that. You know
have
what
some
I mean?
mystique about you still.
Yeah.
They don't know everything about you.
Exactly. So I come from that era because I was in it for so long. I think a lot of people get that misconstrued because they see me when I got it. I'm in a new era, but I'm still looking at it from the old.
Stay all blue. I'm just trying to stay racked up like you.
Put an 8 in a 1 and do magic. Tryna stretch hair on like elastic. Eco-friendly drug dealer, I don't waste no plastic. Use all 4 corners of that baggie. All I ever wanted was a bankroll. So I pull up on Champ before the bank close. Say no to stank hoes and stank clothes. No paramedic pimpin', nigga, we don't save hoes. Yeah, rest in peace to Lil'